My beloved brothers and sisters, sometimes in life, we reach moments where everything seems to fall apart. The plans we made crumble before our eyes, the people we trusted walk away, and the dreams we once cherished seem so far out of reach. We sit there wondering, why me? Why now? What did I do wrong? At that very moment, Shaitan whispers hopelessness into our hearts. He tells us that we have failed, that there is no point in trying, that Allah has forgotten us. But remember, the same Lord who created your heart is the one who can heal it. The same Allah who allowed the storm to come is the one who can bring the calm. My dear brothers and sisters, never confuse a delay with a denial. When something doesn't happen the way you wanted, it doesn't mean Allah has rejected you. It simply means He has a better plan. You see, our vision is limited. We only see what's in front of us, but Allah, Al-Alim, knowing, sees what we cannot. You might be crying over a door that closed while Allah is preparing a gate that leads to something far greater. You might be holding on to something that was never meant to stay. While Allah is removing it to replace it with what will truly bring you peace. Have you ever looked back and realized that something you want to have destroyed, had you received it? That's Allah's mercy in disguise. Sometimes His greatest gifts come wrapped in trials. Life feels unbearable. Turn to Him. Cry to Him. Pour your heart out in sujud. Because when you speak to Allah, you're speaking to the one who can change your situation in the blink of an eye. No therapist, no friend, no amount of wealth can give your heart the peace that one sincere dua can bring. Remember, Allah tells us in the Quran, perhaps you dislike something and it is good for you. And perhaps you love something and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you do not know. Surah Al-Baqarah 222. So trust His timing. Trust His wisdom. The same Allah who took you through difficulty before and brought you out stronger will do it again. Every heartbreak, every loss, every unanswered prayer is not a punishment. It's a step in your journey towards something beautiful. You may not see it now, but one day you'll look back and say, Subhanallah, now I understand. So my brothers and sisters, don't lose hope. Don't give up. Your story isn't over. The author of your destiny is the most merciful. And He's already even the most loving. He knows what you're going through, and He's already written the perfect ending. All you need to do is trust Him. May Allah fill our hearts with peace, strengthen our faith in His plan. Use His hero and make us among those who never lose hope in His mercy. When something in life doesn't go according to plan, our immediate reaction is often disappointment, confusion, or even despair. Then we ask ourselves why things didn't work out the way we wanted, why certain people left, or why certain dreams never came true. But the truth is every setback, every delay, and every loss carries a hidden message from Allah. A message that says, I have something better for you. Allah's plan is always better than our own, even when we don't understand it in the moment. Human beings are naturally impatient. We plan our lives meticulously, setting goals, timelines, and expectations. We map out our careers, relationships, and ambitions, thinking we know exactly what will make us happy. But Allah reminds us in the Quran, the plan, and Allah plans, and Allah is the best of planners. This verse is not just a statement of divine power. It's a reminder of mercy. Allah's plan surpasses ours because His knowledge is perfect while ours is limited. We only see the present moment. He sees the entire story, our past, our future, and the unseen outcomes that we could never anticipate. Sometimes, what we desperately want might lead to our downfall if we were to get it. It could destroy our peace, distance us from faith, or harm us in ways we can't yet comprehend. Out of His infinite mercy, Allah withholds it from us. But in our limited vision, we perceive that as a loss. Imagine a child crying because their parent took away a sharp knife. The child only sees a toy being taken while the parent sees the danger. Similarly, when Allah removes something from our lives, He is protecting us from something we do not see. What feels like rejection is often divine protection. When a door closes, our hearts ache. But we forget that the same Lord who closed that door also has the power to open countless others. Allah never leaves a believer empty-handed. He replaces what is lost with something greater, though it might not happen immediately. So one of the delay is a test of patience, and patience is one of the most beloved qualities in the sight of Allah. The Prophet Muhammad said, know that victory comes with patience, relief with affliction, and ease with hardship. This teaches us that Allah's better plan often requires endurance. The storm may last longer than we expect, but when it passes, it leaves behind wisdom, strength, and faith that we could not have developed any other way. There are countless stories, both in the Quran and in our lives, that reflect this truth. Think about Prophet Yusuf, he was betrayed by his own brothers and thrown into a well, sold into slavery, and imprisoned for years, all of which seemed like a string of tragedies. But each hardship was part of Allah's plan to elevate him. The very pit that seemed to end his dreams became the path to his kingdom. If Yusuf had not been sold as a slave, he would never have entered Egypt. If he had not been imprisoned, Says he would never have met the person who opened the door to his eventual rise in power. What appeared to be misfortune was in fact preparation for greatness. Similarly, in our own lives, the things that break us often build us. A job might seem like the end of stability, but it might push you toward a career that brings greater fulfillment. A heartbreak might feel unbearable, but it could be Allah saving you from a relationship that would have harmed your soul. Being delayed in your goals might frustrate you, but perhaps Allah is teaching you lessons you need before success arrives. His wisdom is precise, not a second too early, not a second too late. Every test, every disappointment is a step in a divine process that shapes you into the person you are meant to become. Believing that Allah's plan is better requires deep trust, tawakkul. It's easy to say, I trust Allah, when life is smooth. But true trust is proven when things fall apart. It's in those moments of confusion that your heart must whisper, Allah knows best. It's not blind faith. It's faith built on the understanding that the creator of the universe, the one who loves you more than your own mother, would never decree something for you without purpose. He does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. So even when it hurts, even when tears fall and your prayers feel unanswered, Salim seems to know that he is preparing something better. Sometimes Allah's better plan isn't about giving you something else. It's about transforming you. Through hardship, he teaches you humility, gratitude, and resilience. Through loss, strain, he brings you closer to him. Through pain, he refines your heart. The goal of life is not comfort, it's connection. Connection with Allah. When everything you relied on falls apart, you finally realize that he is the only one who never leaves. That realization is the greatest blessing of all. In the end, Allah's plan is not just better, it's perfect. You might not understand it now, but one day you would look back and say, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I am today. You'll realize that every no you received was leading you toward a greater wise. Every disappointment was redirecting you to a path filled with peace. So every unanswered prayer was a mercy in disguise. So when life doesn't go your way, smile through the tears and say Alhamdulillah. Because Allah's plan is not only better, it is always exactly what your heart needs, even before you know it. One of the most comforting truths in life is that a delay from Allah is never a denial. Many people lose hope when their prayers aren't answered immediately, when opportunities seem to slip away, or when the path forward feels blocked at every turn. But what we often fail to realize is that Allah's timing is perfect. He knows exactly when to grant, when to withhold, and when to test. But every delay is part of a divine plan designed to prepare you, protect you, or purify you. It is never random. It is never meaningless. It is always purposeful. In our limited human understanding, we want things to happen fast. We want immediate results, instant answers, and quick success. But Allah in His infinite wisdom operates on a timeline that transcends ours. The Quran reminds us, man was created of haste. We rush through life, believing that if something doesn't happen now, it never will. Yet Allah's timing is different because He sees the entire picture, the past, present, and future, while we only see a fragment. So what feels like a delay to us might be Allah aligning countless unseen factors in our favor. When we ask for something in dua and it doesn't come right away, it's easy to feel that Allah hasn't heard us. But the Prophet Muhammad said, your supplication is answered as long as you are not impatient and say, I have prayed, but it was not answered. This shows that impatience can cut off the blessings that are on their way. So I thought that the delay is not a sign that Allah has ignored you. It's a sign that He is preparing the best time for it to manifest. Perhaps if it came earlier, you wouldn't be ready to handle it. Perhaps it would have led to arrogance, carelessness, or even harm. Allah delays certain things so that when they finally arrive, they come as blessings and not burdens. Think about the story of Prophet Moses. He fled Egypt, spent years in exile, and lived far from his homeland. To anyone observing, it would seem like he was forgotten, lost, or delayed in his mission. But that period of delay was Allah's way of preparing him, spiritually, mentally, to lead His people. Without that time of waiting and hardship, Musa would not have developed the strength and wisdom required to face Pharaoh. What seemed like stagnation was actually preparation. In the same way, our own delays are often in times of growth and readiness. Allah is shaping our hearts, purifying our intentions, and positioning us for what is to come. Delays also teach us patience. And patience, sabr, is one of the greatest signs of faith. And the Prophet described patience as light, meaning it illuminates the believer's path through darkness. When Allah delays something, He is teaching us to depend on Him fully, to trust His process, and to let go of our illusion of control. So I said, through waiting, our faith matures. We move from asking, why me? To saying, wow, Allah, I trust you. That transformation is far more valuable than whatever we are waiting for. Sometimes, what we see as a delay is actually Allah diverting us from harm. Imagine if every wish of ours were granted instantly. Many of those wishes, made in moments of emotion or desire, could destroy us. Allah says in the Quran, perhaps you dislike something, and it is good for you, and perhaps you love something, and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you do not know. Press it. His knowledge of what's best for us is absolute, while ours is flawed. So, but when something doesn't happen right away, or not at all, it is not a loss. It is a rescue. Delays also strengthen our connection with Allah. When you are waiting, you keep praying, you keep turning to Him, you keep making dua. That consistent communication nurtures your heart and builds spiritual resilience. If everything came instantly, we might forget Him. But waiting keeps us close to Him. It reminds us that we are not in control, that every blessing, whether delayed or given, comes only through His mercy. Think of a seed buried deep in the soil. For months it seems lifeless, no sign of growth, no evidence of change. But beneath the surface, roots salt in it, something powerful is happening. Roots are forming, foundations are strengthening, and the seed is preparing to break through the earth. When it finally sprouts, it's because the time was right. The soil was ready, the roots were strong, yon yan, and the conditions were perfect. That's how Allah's timing works. You may not see progress on the surface, but Allah is nurturing your growth in unseen ways. The beauty of a delay is often only recognized in hindsight. So you might look back years later and realize that if Allah had given you what you wanted at the time you wanted it, it would have been a disaster. You'll realize every closed door, every waiting period, every unanswered prayer was a form of divine kindness. It wasn't a punishment, it was protection. It wasn't rejection, it was redirection. So when you find yourself waiting for relief, for success, for healing, you know, sort of for clarity, remind yourself that Allah's timing is not late. He is never late. He is never careless. Every moment of waiting is a moment of divine precision. Allah knows the right time, the right place. So anything then the right way to answer your prayer. Trust that His delay is filled with mercy. Keep making dua, keep working hard, and keep your heart firm in faith. Because when Allah finally grants what you've been waiting for, it will come with such beauty, such peace, and such wisdom that you will forget every moment of frustration. You will realize that the delay was never a denial. It was Allah preparing something far more beautiful than you ever imagined. And when it comes, your heart will whisper, Subhanallah, this was worth the wait. When life becomes heavy and your heart feels burdened with pain, the best and most healing thing you can do is turn to Allah. In moments of deep sadness, or confusion or hopelessness, it's natural for us to seek comfort in the people around us. We might talk to friends, family, or even strangers about our struggles, hoping they will understand and ease our pain. You understand your heart, but no one truly understands your heart except the one who created it. Allah knows your thoughts before you can put them into words. He knows the reasons for your tears, even when you cannot explain them yourself. That is why, in moments of despair, the most powerful act is to pour your heart out to Allah, for He listens in ways no one else can. Turning to Allah during hardship is not a sign of weakness, it is a sign of faith. It means you have realized that your strength comes from Him, not from yourself or anyone else. When you make dua, when you raise your hands and whisper your worries to your Creator, you are not just speaking, you are surrendering. You are saying, why Allah, I cannot carry this on my own. And when you surrender Him sincerely, peace begins to fill the spaces that pain once occupied. Allah promises in the Quran, remember me, and I will remember you. This verse is a divine assurance that every time you turn to Him, you are never ignored. One of the most beautiful acts of turning to Allah is found in sujud, prostration. When you place your forehead on the ground, you are in the lowest physical position possible, yet spiritually you are in the highest. In that humble moment, you are closest to your Lord. The Prophet Muhammad has said, the closest a servant is to his Lord is when he is in sujud. Think about that. When you are bowed down, perhaps crying quietly, perhaps unable to even find the right words, Allah is near. He hears every whisper of your heart. He knows what you cannot express. He knows what you fear, what you desire, and what you need. Sometimes people think that dua is only for asking for money, success, marriage, health, or relief. But dua is much more than that. It is an intimate conversation with the one who never tires of hearing from you. Even if you repeat the same prayer 1,000 times, Allah never grows weary of your voice. He never says, not you again. In fact, when you call upon Him again, every time you make dua, your connection with strengthens. It's a reminder that you are not alone, that you have someone far more powerful than any worldly helper. That when we face hardship, our hearts often seek comfort in temporary distractions, social media, entertainment, or the company of others. But these only offer brief relief, they do not heal. Allah, on the other hand, heals from the inside out. When you cry before Him in the quiet of the night, when you raise your hands after salah and speak to Him sincerely, He places a peace in your heart that no one else can give. The Quran beautifully says, verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. This rest is not simply the absence of pain, but the presence of understanding. The understanding that whatever you're going through is part of Allah's perfect plan. And I saw him and that he will never burden you beyond your ability to bear it. Turning to Allah during pain also teaches humility. It reminds you that no matter how strong, intelligent, or independent you are still a servant in need of your Lord. Every breath you take is a gift from Him. Every beat of your heart happens by His will. When you truly realize this, you stop depending on the creation and start depending on the Creator. And when your heart depends on Him, you become unshakable, because even when the world disappoints you, your heart remains anchored in the one who never disappoints. There's also a hidden beauty in talking to Allah. You can be completely honest. You don't need to filter your words or fear judgment. You can tell Him everything, your mistakes, your regrets, your doubts, and your pain. He already knows, but He loves when you confide in Him. It is through that honesty that healing begins. Sometimes we cry to Allah not because we expect an immediate answer, because talking to Him itself brings relief. There's something deeply soothing about knowing that the King of all kings is listening to you personally, that He values your tears, and that He will respond in the best way and at the best time. Even when your prayers seem unanswered, remember that Allah responds in 3 ways. He may give you what you ask for, He may delay it because He knows you're not ready, or He may withhold it to replace it with something better. Every response is an answer, and every answer is mercy. Allah never leaves your dua unanswered. He just answers it with His wisdom instead of your wishes. Turning to Allah also changes the way you experience hardship. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin to ask, what is Allah teaching me through this? That shifted mindset transforms pain into purpose. You start to see that trials are not punishments but opportunities to grow in patience, gratitude, and closeness to your Lord. Through hardship, you discover the beauty of relying on Him. You find out that your strength doesn't come from within. It comes from above. So when you feel lost, when your heart is heavy, and when the world seems to offer no comfort, go back to the one who never turns you away. Speak to Him in your own words. Cry if you need to, fall into sujud, and let your tears become your prayer. Because in that moment of vulnerability, this is exactly why you are not weak. You are exactly where you are meant to be. The one who turns to Allah can never be truly hopeless, for as long as you have Allah, you have everything you need. Are 2 of the most powerful qualities a believer can hold, especially during times of uncertainty and pain. Life is filled with moments that test our faith, moments when plans fail, people change, so suddenly new, and our hearts feel broken. In those moments, trusting Allah's wisdom becomes both a challenge and a necessity. To trust Allah means to truly believe that He knows what you do not, that He sees what you cannot, and that everything He decrees has a reason behind it, even if it's hidden from your understanding. When you combine that trust with patience, your heart becomes calm even in the midst of chaos. Because you know that your story is unfolding exactly as it's meant to. Many of us say we trust Allah, but when something we love is taken away, or when a prayer goes unanswered, our hearts begin to doubt. We ask, why me? Or why now? But true trust, or tawakkul, means surrendering that question and saying, Allah, I may not understand this right now. It means believing that I know you do. It means believing that what Allah chooses for you is always better than what you would choose for yourself, even if it comes wrapped in hardship. This kind of faith isn't easy. It takes strength, reflection, and spiritual maturity. But once you develop it, it brings an unshakable peace to your soul. The Quran reminds us, whoever puts his trust in Allah, if He is powerful, then He is sufficient for it, because verses so tells us that the moment you truly rely on Allah, you no longer need to depend on anything or anyone else. You may still work hard, make plans, and take steps forward, but your heart no longer panics when things don't go according to plan. You stop chasing control and start finding comfort in submission. This is the essence of faith. To work with effort, but to surrender the outcome to Allah. Patience, so alive when times get tougher, when times sabr, is what keeps that trust alive. When patience, trust fades quickly. When something painful happens, it's natural to feel sadness or confusion. But a believer's heart responds with calm endurance. Patience doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you don't let that pain pull you away from Allah. It means that when life hurts, you still say, Alhamdulillah. When you don't understand, you still say, and when Allah knows best, and when you are waiting for relief, you still say, my Lord has not forsaken me. That's what patience looks like, quiet strength rooted in trust. In the story of Prophet Ayub, when we see the perfect example of this. He lost his health, his wealth, and his family, yet he never complained against Allah. His heart remained full of faith. He said, indeed, adversity has touched me. And you are the most merciful of the merciful. He didn't ask, why did this happen to me? He simply turned to Allah with hope. Because of his patience and trust, Allah not only restored everything he lost, but increased it. This story reminds us that when we hold on to patience through difficulty, Allah rewards us in ways we cannot imagine. Trusting Allah's plan also changes how we view delay and disappointment. When something doesn't happen as quickly as we want, instead of assuming Allah is ignoring us, we remind ourselves that He's protecting us or preparing us for something greater. Many times, the things we beg for are not denied. They are simply postponed until we are ready. If we received everything we wanted when we wanted it, we might not appreciate it, or worse, we might misuse it. Allah delays things out of mercy, not neglect. And patience is what allows us to see that delay as a lesson, not as a punishment. There's a beautiful saying that goes, when you are patient, what is written for you will find you. It may take longer than you wish, but it will come. This is what trusting Allah means, to know that what's meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. When you live with this conviction, your heart becomes free from envy, fear, and regret. You stop comparing your journey to others because you know that everyone's timeline is different, and Allah's wisdom shapes each one uniquely. Patience is not passive waiting, it is active faith. It means that while you wait, you keep doing good, you keep praying, working, and striving because you believe Allah will open the right doors at the right time. It's easy to be patient when life is smooth. But real patience shines in difficulty when you could complain, but you choose gratitude instead. Every moment you endure for the sake of Allah brings you closer to Him, and every tear shed in patience is seen and rewarded by Him. The Prophet Muhammad said, "How wonderful is the affair of the believer. There is good for him in everything." And this is not the case with anyone except the believer. If he is happy, he thanks Allah, and there is good for him. If he is harmed, he shows patience, and there is good for him. This hadith shows that patience transforms every situation into something beneficial. Whether you receive blessings or trials, bless and you still win, because both bring you closer to Allah. When you trust Allah completely, you no longer fear the future or regret the past. You understand that whatever happened by His wisdom, and whatever will happen by His mercy. That realization brings peace unlike any other. Even when life feels uncertain, your heart remains steady because it rests in the hands of the one who never makes mistakes. So whenever you find yourself in pain, waiting for answers, or walking through a storm, remember this patience is not just about waiting. It's about how you wait. And trust is not just about believing. It's about surrendering. When you pair patience with trust, your heart will find peace even before the situation changes. You'll learn to smile through trials, to say Alhamdulillah even in loss, and to walk with faith even in darkness. Because deep down, you'll know that Allah's plan is perfect, His wisdom is infinite, and His timing is always right.